If you have ever worried that you are annoying people by sending too many emails, if you've ever bottled out of that final launch email, or if you are guilty of burying your sales links within reams of content, then today's episode is for you, where I'm going to share 6 tips to help you feel more comfortable sending more sales emails. Welcome to the Soulful Sales Show, where we talk about believing in the value of your offers, getting them in front of your right people, and selling more of what you do in your unique way. Hi, and welcome back to another episode of the Soulful Sales Show. Now, today I'm talking about a topic that actually I support clients with a lot, and it's actually I have a lot of feelings about this because I would say that it is the number one way that I make more sales, and I make more sales in a way that is easier for me. And that is being comfortable sending a lot of sales emails. So I'm going to give you 6 short and sweet tips that have worked for me and for my clients to help you feel better about it, because I know people have feelings about this. I know we worry about annoying people. We worry about not giving enough value. We worry if we've had a break from emailing, and is it okay to come back and just be selling in our emails? We worry about unsubscribes. We worry about all of the things, but actually there are so many benefits to sending more sales emails, and it's not just about the cold hard numbers, all right? So let's get to it. This is going to be short and sweet, action-packed tips. So number 1, the first thing I want you to do is be radically honest about how much you're actually selling by email. Because what I have noticed is that a lot of my clients have a tendency to think that they are selling all of the time, whether by email or otherwise. And actually they are selling way less often than they think. And or they are burying their sales links within a really long email. So you might be sending out emails to your list and you might have like a really short mention of that thing you have for sale, but it's not that obvious in the email, and you're kind of hiding behind all of the other content in there because something about making it more obvious or including more calls to action in an email or linking the content more directly to the sale feels uncomfortable. So this is what I see a lot: burying the actual ask for the sale and or asking for the sale way less than you think. So tip number 1 is for you just to be radically honest about how much you have actually been selling. Go through some of your past emails. Go through some of the emails you sent for a past launch. Check in exactly how many times you are linking to your offer in those emails, exactly how clearly you are formatting those links to your offers, how concise and clear you are being in your calls to action, and how many of those emails are actually purely, here's what I have to offer, here's how it can help you, here's who it's for, versus really lovely but not necessarily directly linking to the sale content-based emails. So just be radically honest with yourself. That is my first tip. And honestly, if you can be honest and look back, you may find that that shifts a lot for you in your head already. You might think, hang on a minute, I'm not actually selling that much, so I feel totally fine with selling more. And if you don't feel fine, I actually didn't write this down in my notes, but be radically honest with yourself about why as well. Sometimes we can have a really vague story about why it's not okay to sell more often in our emails or otherwise, and we're not being specific with ourselves about what that story is. What am I actually afraid will happen if I sell more often? So be radically honest with yourself about those 2 things. All right, tip number 2, change the way you see sales emails. That was a tongue twister. You can do this in 2 ways, but the second way I'll get to in tip number 3. So the first way is to understand that selling by email is not the same thing as sending salesy emails. Does that make sense? So there are some times when you will send emails that are just basically, like I said earlier, here's my thing, here's what it does, here's how it benefits you, here's how you can buy it, and here's why you should buy it. That's what I think of as a more salesy email. I'm not using salesy in a derogatory sense. I know a lot of people would take that in a derogatory sense, but what I mean by that is like it's a more pure asking for the sale. It's purely focused on selling. Not all sales emails have to be purely focused on selling. You can sell in all of your emails. So if you are regularly sending what I call value-based emails, you can sell in all of those emails too. It doesn't detract from the value of what you're sharing anyway to add a PS, I also have this offer open, or to just link to a few of your always open resources or whatever. It doesn't take away from the value of your regular emails to include a link to what you're selling, but it can also help you find that balance between sending those emails that are more purely selling and sending those emails that are helpful in and of themselves to the client. And when I am structuring planning out my launch content, and when I say launch, I use that word very loosely. Sometimes my launch is literally just sending a few emails. When I am planning out those emails, I will always include a mixture of both. It's really helpful to have a few purely sales emails, which I will share about why in the next tip. But it's also helpful to include emails that are valuable in and of themselves. I always want to be in the headspace where I trust that no matter whether people buy, no matter whether they're interested in buying, there is always value in the emails that I'm sending, even though I ask for the sale in every single email. And my biggest tip for you to start doing that is to start using a PS in the emails you're already sending, even in the social media content you're already posting, and work up from there. Tip number 3, focus on the transformation of your offer. So this is another way that we get to change the way we see sales emails. You sharing about your offer is super helpful for the people who either do need your offer and will benefit from the transformation of your offer, or are wondering whether they need your offer and might benefit from the transformation of your offer. Even if they don't end up going on to buy, your sales emails are really helpful for helping them make that decision, right? So focus on the transformation of your offer. Think about the right person for your offer. Chances are you'll have 99% of your list is not the right person for your offer, but that 1%, you want to bring them into your mind. It's so easy to write with the 99% in mind, who, by the way, can still benefit from your emails because of what I just said in the last tip. Focus on the 1% who really need it. Why would you be doing them a disservice if you were not selling your offer more clearly, more often, sending more emails? Because people are busy. They are not going to see all of the emails that you send. They are not going to see all of the times that you mention your offer. Focus on the transformation of that offer and how you would be doing a disservice to not sell it properly. Okay? Tip number 4, give people an option to opt out. Loads of email service providers come with automations that allow you to create a link, and if someone clicks that link in the email, it adds a tag to that subscriber. So I create automations for every single one of my launches. I create 2 types. One is I tag everyone who clicks the link to read the sales page of the offer. So I know I have a segment of people who might be potentially more interested in the offer, and I will often send them an extra email during the launch, an extra last chance email. And then the second way I use automations is I create an opt-out link. So there's a link in every email I send saying, PS, if you know that this offer isn't for you and you don't want to hear anything else about it, click here to opt out of future emails for this launch. And it tags them with a special tag that tells me they don't want to hear about it. And then when I send the next launch email, I exclude that tag from the email. I hope this is making sense. In practice, very few people actually use this option, I find. People do use it every time, but not that many. What you will find is a lot of people will unsubscribe when you are sending launch emails or sending more sales emails. But by giving them the option, those people who want to stay but just want to, quieten down their inbox because they know they're not interested, you give them a choice. More than that, though, I think it's about how you feel. Even though I'm sharing this episode with you and my podcast is called Soulful Sales, I still get in my head sometimes about sending too many emails and annoying people and all of that stuff. When I do get in my head, it always helps my mindset to know that I have given people an option to opt out using that trigger link. It's really, really helpful for me. It's helpful for the small amount of people who do use it, but it is normal to get unsubscribes as well. That is okay. The way I see it is me selling is, this is what I do. The things I'm selling is what I do. So if people genuinely aren't interested and they don't want to use the launch specific opt out and they choose to unsubscribe, that is okay. They may come back in the future. That is okay. But what I'm doing is not for them right now. That is okay. All right. Okay, what step are we up to now? Number 5. I advise you to stretch your comfort zone bit by bit. So if you never sell in email, I want you to use my tip and do a PS in the next email you send and just link to something that you have always open. That's the most basic step you can take. If you do launches regularly, and launches in the way that I mean them, which can be a really laid back kind of launch, sending a few emails, stretch and you have this like inkling that you do want to send more emails and that you do wimp out. That's not a very kind way of saying it, but you know what I mean. You do wimp out sometimes from sending those emails. Then I want to challenge you, after listening to this episode, next time you are selling something, send 1 or 2 more emails than you normally would. Build up your comfort zone bit by bit. You don't have to go all out and send an email every single day. And by the way, I meant to mention this at the start, but I am challenging myself to send an email every day. I'll talk about that more at the end. You don't have to go all out and do what I'm doing and send an email every single day. You can just start by sending 1 or 2 more than normal. See what happens. What you will probably find is that you don't die. Everything is okay. You probably won't get loads of emails complaining about it. You may make more sales either now or in the future. You probably will make more sales, at least in the future. Everything you are sending and the muscle you are building is going to pay off in the future. I'm definitely certain about that. And finally, tip number 6, remember that you are the only one who sees every time you sell. So what I mean by this is that we can be hyper aware of how many times we are asking for the sale, of how many times we are sending an email, of how many times we are including that call to action in the email. No one else is paying that much attention to you. If they are, it's probably because they're really interested in what you do. Otherwise, people are going to miss some of your emails. People are going to even open some of your emails but miss the fact that you have something for sale, especially if you're doing that thing I mentioned in tip number 1 and burying the link to your thing that you have for sale. People are busy. Inboxes are full. This is actually one of the main reasons why I want you to be sending more sales emails. I promise you, it is so worth it. Nobody else is sitting there counting the emails you send and the calls to actions you make and judging you. I mean, you may get the odd person who is, but they're not your right person anyway. So you are the only one who sees it. It makes sense that you are hyper aware of it, but just remember, no one else is that aware of it. So I hope that these 6 tips have been helpful for you. I really want you to practice stretching your comfort zone bit by bit, sending more sales emails, and see what happens. See if you make more sales. And one thing actually that I want to add on to this is a lot of us have a tendency to be, if we're writing our emails in the moment, as in, you know, say we're launching for a week and each day we're writing the emails each day, it's very, very easy to lose steam and to stop sending emails if our launch isn't going the way we want. So another bonus tip, schedule your emails in advance. Decide before the launch starts how many emails you're going to send for that launch. Schedule them in advance. So that way you won't get in your head about it and think, no one's interested. Oh, I may as well not bother. Because the thing about launching is it's never over till it's over. You cannot judge the results of a launch till it's over. It's up to you to show up till the very end and send all of those emails, no matter how the other ones have been going so far. Anyway. All right, so they are my short and sweet tips for you. I did allude to the fact that I'm going to be setting myself a daily email challenge. Basically, in my Soulful Sales Society membership, which is closed at the moment, but there is going to be a way to join soon, so watch this space. In this membership, I have a behind the scenes experiment of my goal to reach 1,000 paying clients in my offer all at once, which is a wild goal to me. Like, if you're thinking that sounds huge, it is huge, but it's really exciting to me as well. And the first kind of part of that experiment is extending from now till the end of the year. And I was thinking about what inspired actions do I want to take and how do I want to stay focused. And it just like really came through to me that I just want to be off social media. This doesn't include my Facebook group, but basically off Instagram for the rest of the year and just see how it goes. It's an experiment for me. And then the second idea came on. I thought, what if I just tried emailing my list every day for a month? Every day for a month. I wonder what would happen. So I feel really excited to try it. I'm definitely going to use those opt-out links for people who don't want emails about all the things I'm sending. I'll probably get more unsubscribes than usual, but it will be interesting to see how the benefits of it and how many people are engaging and how many people are clicking those links and buying. I have a lot of offers planned for the last few months of the year. So this feels like a really exciting experiment for me. And I really wanted to kickstart a few like evergreen weekly email series. So this is a really good time for me to do that as well. So anyway, if you are in the Soulful Sales Society membership, you're going to get access to all my behind the scenes on this. If you are not in the membership, there will be a way to join sometime soon. I don't have the details yet, but watch this space. If you go to ruthpoundwhite.com/SSS, you can join the waitlist. And I'll probably have some thoughts and feelings to share about it in a future podcast episode. So watch this space. But yeah, above all else, stretch your comfort zone. Sell more than you are used to in email and see that it's not that scary. All right, catch you again next week for another episode. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Soulful Sales. If you have a moment to rate and review, know that it really does make a difference. And if you'd like to carry on the conversation, then you can connect with me on Instagram at Ruth Poundwhite, sign up to my newsletter at ruthpoundwhite.com/newsletter, or my personal favorite, join me inside the low ticket membership at ruthpoundwhite.com/membership. And keep doing what you're doing because your work really does matter.